Good evening and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Tonight we have Donnie on. How are you, man?
I'm pretty good for my age. A little spacey today, but appropriately laughing monkey. That's what they usually call me.
Well, it's named from three things I like: laughing, monkeys, and music. So I think
I love monkeys, like
yeah.
chimps and stuff. Those, like you asked me if I watch videos, I watch those monkeys and chimps, and so you do that too.
Oh yeah.
I'm not the only crazy motherfucker out there.
I find myself as I get older watching more just about animal videos, really, just cute things, and I don't know. I'm just an old guy now.
I had a monkey for a very short time, and it's definitely you rethink that one for sure. Yeah, I don't want to go into it, but it's not what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, I heard they're kind of awful in captivity. Most animals are, though. I mean, human beings aren't even nice in captivity. So what do you expect from an animal, right?
Right.
And they speak the same language. Actually, that's gonna be a question I actually have for you. We're gonna go over some of your newer stuff. You got some of your solo stuff. I don't want to like focus too much on the politics of the band, but I do have some creative questions about. I mean, Enuffs Z'Nuff's been a big part of your life, so more about the creative process of Enuffs Z'Nuff into your solo career. Okay. In your first couple albums, you were probably the big songwriter, all the way through everything, right? The big songwriter.
Yeah, I'm the main songwriter.
Yeah. Is that by choice? Or at any point, did you ever want to kind of share it, or is it just kind of like easier to just be you?
Put it this way, it's out of necessity.
Well, you've had a lot of other guys in the band over the years. I mean, Johnny Monaco's a songwriter, a good singer.
Yeah, he was a live guitar player with us. He didn't do any records or anything. I asked him a couple times on the road, let's write a song or something, but he kind of, I don't know, for some reason he shied away from that. Derek and Vic didn't write songs, I guess maybe later on in life they did, but when they were in the band, they didn't, that Ricky didn't write songs, and it's just me and Chip,
Yeah, that would have been good. You and Johnny, I think that would have been good, because I think,
vocally and
stylistically, I would have, other bands could still have other musicians and still sound like the band. I don't think it would have taken away from the sound. It would have been interesting because to have another singer, vocalist that you could have played off of. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's like with Chip, the co-writing was cool because, he'd come up with some idea or something, and I'd just take it and do all the rest of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was easy. But I would love to. I love those songs that I co-wrote with them. Because just somebody just can give you one little note different and it'll bring you down a whole different alley. You know what I mean? And I love co-writing, but I just haven't had much experience with it.
I just want to ask you really briefly about some of your album covers early on in the titles where you came up from. Obviously, Enuffs Z'Nuff, self-titled. Strength in the album cover. Who came up with that?
The label. When I first seen it, I was like, "What the fuck?" Too, a big naked man on the cover. But when you go walking in, as you walk into the Atlantic building in New York, that's it, right in the lobby. That's what you see is the Strength cover. Only it's holding the world, but they just made it a peace sign.
All right. Now, I think one of your best album titles, you guys actually pretty good album title just overall across the board, is Animals with Human Intelligence. Talk about monkeys right there. I love that title. That's probably a good title. I don't know if you came up with it.
We had nothing to do with that title. That was all the label.
What? That's a good title.
I guess it summed us up, huh?
I don't know about that. I just thought it was an interesting title. So you guys have no control over any of the titles? They just kind of took over, or what?
Just that title. Just the title of that record. That was, with a whole different kind of label. Like Echo Atlantic, we basically, they knew what we were doing. They knew we knew what we were doing. So they kind of let us have free reign and do this and that, and then any bad decisions and choices that were made, like the look and all that stuff, was out of lack of experience in our whole management team and everything being kind of clusterfuck at that time. We were going through lawsuits and shit. And so, so we got to basically call it ourselves, you know what I mean? And then afterwards, after the Animals, then we were no longer on major labels. And then I basically, I basically come up with the titles.
All right, so then actually you could get,
but not the covers.
Well, who does the covers? Who came up with the covers to go along?
I don't know. Different people do the covers. See, I was not always consistently present, you know what I mean, mentally and this and that. And so Chip did a lot of the business side of everything. And a lot of times one of the biggest problems I had with Chip is that I'd end up getting stuck with decisions that he made that I really strongly disagree with, but I get stuck with them when it's too late, when they're etched in stone, you know, I'm holding a copy of the record.
Yeah.
And,
it's such a process of a band. You know what I mean? Usually a lot of bands have the cover art, it's a whole creative continuity.
Yeah, well, I come up with a great title for the record, you know what I mean, is after Animals, the Peach Fuzz, because we were like babies, and it was kind of a, you know, mishmash of things that didn't make records. And then Seven, which was our 7th record, so that was an easy one. Oh, like 1985 was an easy one.
Right.
I don't think I came up with that, but then Tweaked, that was you know, Paraphernalia. That Welcome to Blue Island. Welcome to Blue Island was going to be a great album cover, but see, I would come up with these titles, but the next thing I knew, there was an album called that with whoever's artwork or somebody seen or sent or who's did or proved or whatever. And I fucking hated every single album cover. Like Welcome to Blue Island was when you drive, huh?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the title. Yeah, it's with big sunshine on it. Yeah,
when you drive into Blue Island from the shitty side, there's a big sign that says "Welcome to Blue Island." It's got like 50 bullet holes in it and shit, you know, where people shooting the sign up and stuff. So I thought that would be a great album. But somehow the album cover looks like a cartoon Big Chips Enuff as a son. I don't know what the fuck, man. Dissonance, that was a good one.
Yeah, that but it's interesting because like the title could have gone more with the art. I mean, because like I said, you know, Peach Fuzz was nice. You could have done more with it. It's just an orange cover. You know what I mean?
The artwork. Well, my idea. See, I had ideas for all the artwork for those records, but they just wouldn't be used or ignored. You know, like Peach Fuzz. I wanted to have like a little sort of like the Van Halen, right? Just a little like 2 or 3 year old girl and a boy. You know, naked little girl and a boy. You know, the one having the shades and the cop hat and cigarette in his mouth, and you know, the little girl. And I thought that would be kind of cute as Peach Fuzz, you know. But then it was orange, just an orange cover. It was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I feel like, you know, for such a creative band, that's why there's always a question. I'm like, where are these album covers coming from? Because it doesn't feel like it's tying in with anything. I mean, I know you just label things.
I think we got the worst album for any national act. We've got the worst album covers in history. I like the first one. The first one is good.
Well, yeah, it's pretty basic. These holds together. Paraphernalia is not bad. It just looks like a magazine cover. I actually pulled up right here so I can remember as we're talking about him here.
Oh, I was going for that. Going for that Queen Night at the Opera type vibe with the shadows.
I also kind of feel like it's kind of like the Rolling Stone or old Vogue, like old 70s type of magazine type of the dark thing. Yeah. So now you've been in control of your own stuff though, right? 100% your own album covers and stuff.
Pretty much so, yeah. You know, I talk about things with other people and stuff, with my team, management, my sister and everything. We discuss things, but you know, ultimately, you know, the decisions are mine, you know. Mm-hmm. And it has to be that this is the first time in my life, and probably the only time in my life I'll actually get to do my clear vision like I always seen it, like I see it, you know what I mean? And like my last record, Beautiful Things, that was right down the lane for exactly what I wanted to do, you know what I mean, and always wanted to do. And that's the first chance I had to try. And now there's a lot of other stuff going on, and I have to be present. And I'm not very good at business or consistency and stuff. And I forgot there was this today, you know what I mean? They just woke me up later to get in the shower. I really do think that I have, as long as I used to be all fucked up shit. Now, as long as I'm not all fucked up, I really think, you know, that I'm the creative source of the band and my music and stuff. And, you know, I've got great ideas for things, you know, like Beautiful Things cover, using the fans and stuff on the cover and shit. And so most of the decisions are basically mine at the end, or unless something I get bullied into.
Well, I think you should stand your ground. I think this is it for you. This is your time to, you know.
Yeah, I know. I think I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing in the artistic.
Yeah, I mean, your solo albums and music's really good. I mean, I do see like there is a change. Obviously, you have a sound, and being the singer and a main songwriter, you are always going to have the main song, you know, of Enuffs Z'Nuff on some level. It's kind of you. I mean, that's your voice.
Stole the party, took it with me.
Right? Pretty much. So, but with that, your solo songs are a little different though. They're not just, it's not Enuffs Z'Nuff. it feels like they go off like enough stuff. Say go down the road. Each of your songs has here's your voice, but it goes off.
Well,
beats are different.
It was kind of a pigeonhole. You kind of got to stay in some groove with Enuffs Z'Nuff. It was a weird combination to begin with, using real pop melodies and stuff, and then metal sounding instruments and shit. And so that wasn't ever anything that I really was into, but that's what happened. So that's what we're known as, and we just kept making more stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so like I said, creative control wasn't completely mine, and so plus money and time in the studios and stuff, everything, so we basically did everything in the same template. You know what I mean? There was the same template for everything, the same kind of instruments and shit like that. And I can go back and listen to all those records, and like every song that comes out, I'll be like, damn, I should have done this. I wished I'd have done this and this and that. You know what I mean? But with Beautiful Things record, there's nothing I can say, not one thing I can say that I wished I could have done better. I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
It's strong. I mean, and there's diversity in the songs. It's not layered the same. It sounds even more upbeat. It feels like happiness, because I think some of the Enuffs Z'Nuff feels like melancholy. I think it has a nice groove, like a backbeat melancholy to it.
I spent a lot of time melancholy, just for lack of a better word.
No, I mean it's not even. It feels like it's kind of a roll there. But your new stuff does feel much more upbeat. Even some of the songs, the rhythm, is much more like rock and roll R&B feel. A couple of them. What's your last single? That was Shake It.
Shake It Up. Oh, that was a dare.
I know, but it's funny
to do that. I didn't. That's the last thing I think I should be doing is covers to begin with. Covers is I got my own songs, and that's what the fans want to hear. And second of all, worst of all, Taylor Swift cover songs.
That's what the best part of it was, though, because it's tongue in cheek. It's irony. You can laugh at yourself, man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. It wasn't actually a bad cover. Actually, I enjoyed it was a change. It shows you could do more. You're not gonna die by it. It's not gonna be on your gravestone.
Thank you.
This is the guy that did Taylor Swift.
Oh, something could happen. I could end up known for that.
Please, all these album covers to be known by.
It is what it is. I mean, I'm not ashamed of anything I've done in my life. Even the shameful things, I'm not ashamed of. Everything is what it is. You know what I mean?
How are you doing mentally? Are you back on? How are you doing music, and you're kind of cleaned up now? You feeling better?
Yeah, I'm cleaned up. I'm not doing all those drugs and drinking or anything anymore. It's been like 6 years, almost 5 years. Mentally, I've put a lot of miles on this body and my system, and I'm 57 in another month. So mentally, I think I'm feeling certain things starting to go. You know what I mean? Which is kind of a scary thing. But then there's other parts of my body I feel starting to go too. I mean, but it's nobody's fault but mine. I beat the fucking shit out of it. But I suffer from really bad anxiety, and then I got the bipolar and other shit. And so that's a tricky question. You ask, how am I doing mentally? It's all relevant.
Well, yeah, I guess, and I wouldn't normally ask that, but you've been pretty public about things to the point where, can be concerning.
I'm doing great under my circumstances.
I get that. That. I mean, because there was a period where you were, the fodder for like Metal Sludge, and like a lot of emails and texts and stuff was out there for a while. You remember that little brief period? That was a little concerning. Yeah, it felt like you were really kind of going off the deep end. It was.
I was losing it. I was close to a nervous breakdown. There was a lot of behind the scenes shit that I couldn't. I was finding out was happening and stuff that was feeling very, very violated, and there was nothing I could do about it, and it was just continuing to go on and without getting into what it was. And
that's fine. No, you don't need to.
I was losing my fucking mind. You know what I mean? And the only thing I could think of to do is just get out and scream it at the top of my lungs what's going on. And the end was, it was, I don't think it looked cool, because I can't stand when somebody does that. And I know it doesn't look cool. I think it's lame as fuck, but I couldn't help it. And then ultimately through that came help, came my team, my social media team, my manager, they came to the rescue.
It did seem like bipolar. I didn't think it was lame. I was very worried.
It was very lame.
Well, you can Judge yourself. I don't need to judge you. I got my own life to judge.
Yeah, I was in really bad shape at that point. You know,
from the outside though, it was very worrisome as another human being going out like that. I mean,
I've heard that.
The topic.
I heard that.
People were concerned. It's not about the topic. No one really cares. You know, like I said, I think less people care what's going on between you guys than that. You know what I mean? The topic of the news. It's more about how you're doing, how you're feeling. You know, as a person.
A lot of like that kind of shit and the stuff that was going on there and the way I was feeling. It's a lot of my substance abuse can be credited to trying not to feel like that throughout the career. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you're clean, and it's a good step. And I think being away from the band is probably one of the healthier things you could do. I mean,
absolutely.
A creative process or not. I know. So you and Chip are back doing some stuff together. Kind of doing it baby steps, kind of keeping some space. I don't think.
I would say, well, you know, we're been back in business together with the Cleopatra deal with the licensing and everything, and definitely talking. But basically, he hasn't asked me to do anything. But every time I got new songs, I send him over for him to play the bass on. So that still works for me because he's like the best bass player for what I do. So that's basically what goes on. You know, friendly, cordial chats and talks every now and then and stuff like that. And he's in my new video. He came down and was in my video, and he's playing on the song. We retracked the song, and I got another song that song was Party Time was it's like this is the third or fourth time we're stalling the release on it because you got to wait for right timing for something like Party Time. So I just decided I'm going to put something out in the meantime, like maybe in a week or two.
That's good. Yeah.
Just to get something out there, and I'll send it to him to play the bass. He's gonna be bummed out when he hears the song, how great the fucking song is.
You gotta ask him why he's not calling returning the favor, man. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I've offered it. I said, hey, if you need me for any background harmonies or most of all lyrics, because his lyrics are the worst. I would told him I'd help him with lyrics or this and that, but I think his whole agenda and everything now is he's had enough of being the second dog, and he wants to be the first dog, top dog, and so for he'll sacrifice a lot of other things that would make sense for his agenda.
Well, if you come in, it would take away from his singing, and it would sound like old Enuffs Z'Nuff, and he'd be like, oh, why don't you get him back? And then it would kind of push him back.
That's why I got him to put that song on his last record, that one that I sang and wrote. Mm-hmm. And I just told him that, we had just started talking again. And I said, you got another record coming out, another Enuffs Z'Nuff record. Like I never, ever agreed that he was putting out records as Enuffs Z'Nuff and shit. That was one of the things. But I said, for the fans' perspective, I said, who do you do this for? Do you do this just for you, or do you do this for the fans? The reasons that we're really in this business. And I said, they would love to hear something with the old formula, what they're used to, you know what I mean? And give them something. Wasn't even one of the best songs I had laying around. This was one that would fit in that. And, but they did, and every interview I did after his record came out, it was, the big question is.
What song was it? I gotta be honest with you. I pretty much after you left, I skimmed through some songs like when they came out, and I was like,
it's called Strangers in My Head.
Okay. I'll go back and listen to it.
It's at least there's certainly one good song. I haven't heard it, but I've heard Chip for 30 years. I know how he writes, it's exactly what I expected.
On one level, I mean, your relationship has to be, Enuffs Z'Nuff is your kids. You guys had kids, and you guys are a divorced couple, and you guys got to get along for business stuff. For the kids on some level.
Let's just get away from this whole fucking question because
sorry.
Once I get
I didn't mean to go there. No, I was actually going to end on. I was going to end on that one. Like I'm saying, you guys are always going to be together. So as far as you said, so you've been writing all your own stuff now. Like you don't have anybody coming in.
I always have. No, I've never. I've always written all my stuff. Everything on those records. Everything on these records. That's basically what I am. I'm not a rock star or anything like that. I want to be some famous rich rock star, an artist. That's what I started out to be, and that was what I wanted to be, and that's what I became. And so so it's the craft and the art and that I get off on, and something channels through me from something a greater a greater power, a greater energy source channels through me and gives me gives me these songs, you know.
I just like with a friend, just like a jam. I know you're primary songwriter, just kind of like for fun.
Yeah.
Now that you're not in the band, when you demo out your stuff, you record it all, and then you get done with it. Are you just do rough demos and then you get them ready to have them do regular studio recording, or do you do it yourself at this point?
I do everything myself up until the point of I can't release anything though that I mix. I can't mix chocolate milk. I mean, and I'm not very savvy with I know just enough to get by to lay tracks down. But when I was doing demos, a lot of the times I just am such a hurry to finish it, or so eager to finish it because I want to hear it. You know what I mean? So and I'm in the back of my mind, it's demos. So I'm not being precise with anything. There's sloppiness all over everywhere. But when it's all put together, I can hear I can hear it and it sounds great, but anybody else would critique and pick that apart. It would be sloppy and horrible. But after, everything else I've done, I gotta take it to the next level when it's time to actually make the record. But now that I'm just doing singles and stuff and I'm tracking new ones, excuse me, I'm mindful of that. And I make sure they're clean and organized tracks and labeled and all this stuff because when I send it off to I'll send it off to get the bass and send it off to get the drums and mixed, you know what I mean? But the tracking time and all of that, that's time consuming, especially when I'm doing everything and working out, and I got to learn every song on every instrument, it takes a long time. So that's where you really burn through money in a budget, recording a record. So I'm doing all of that, I could take my time and make sure everything's cool and stuff, as long as I get clean tracks and good tracks. I mean, and if something needs to be repaired after it's been, once it's in the mix stage, just let me know, send it back and I'll repair what needs to be repaired or whatever. But yeah, you got to have a great drummer, you got to have that groove in it. And when you can get guys like Paul Gilbert or Roger Manning and, cats like that, and if you got, a couple of bucks to afford them, that's the way to go. You want to make it sound great. And my guy, Mike Dolan, mixed the record and engineered it. He's, my opinion, the best I've ever heard at mixing.
Well, your stuff has sounded good. You slipping in COVID though, how have things changed for you? Because were you getting ready to are you going to do some playing out a little bit? Kind of, I know it's where you at with that right now?
That's what ready to go out there. That was what was going down before I hit. We were rehearsing for booking shows. The shows were getting booked, for the summer, and starting there, and it was getting lined up, and working out this and that, and working with the band and rehearsing and stuff, which I hate. I hate playing live. I hate rehearsing, all of that stuff. It's like, I'm an artist. I'm not that, you know what I mean? But I have to do that, unfortunately. And plus I like to see all the fans and shit. So then the COVID hit, and I was kind of let off the hook, and it kind of didn't happen. We ended up canceling some shows. And so since then, other than that, my routine hasn't really changed. I'm still doing what I did every day, what I do every day. So,
So obviously when this is over, you're going to have to get out and tour again.
I don't know, tour per se. That's like getting in a van or a bus or something and going out to play in every little shithole.
No, I mean, I'm maybe flying. There's a lot of artists who fly in, like in the weekend.
Like events, events, like something, book a show that means something and means something to people. So, where you book one good one or two good ones on good nights and leave all that Monday through, all Sunday through Monday dates where, so, and not too many, and don't oversaturate everywhere either, so people come and they get into it and make sure it's a really great show, which I'm going to do. And, that's, you get more money, you make a good take at the door, you sell the merch and everything like that way. And the way you're perceived, the perception, is better. I mean, instead of playing, all these nights of 50 people in Tulsa, Oklahoma and shit.
I agree with you. I agree. I was
and it makes sense
about that too. The same thing, they come out once in a while. It's special to the fans.
Yeah, I mean, what he does for it's like 2-3 weeks to make what I'll do in a night. You know what I mean? Just by doing it right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to do it like that. It does make it more special. And I think as you get older, you shouldn't have to tour like that. It's rough. I couldn't do it. I never been able to do it, man.
Detrimental to my health.
No, your health is important, man.
Yeah.
You gotta keep yourself in a good spot. So let's talk about so Cleopatra has come in. They're gonna re-release your stuff. They got some colored vinyl coming out on Dissonance, right? What colors? I actually they got all the albums except for the first two. But Atco's got those two. They're not gonna let go of those ever.
We're getting them back. They
Are you?
revert back to us next year. Yeah.
All right. I figured they were never gonna let those go.
Or 2023. 2023, they're ours again. I do believe that they just or are going to release our stuff. You know, again, I think Atco is now sold to somebody else, and I think that they're planning to put that out. But
one more last hurrah.
I guess so, but that's what. Well, found that out by inquiring because we're like, it's not doing anything. It's just laying around there. Can we have it back? We really need it for doing our publishing business deals and stuff like that. It's the only ones that are really worth anything out there. You know, the hits, the stuff is known, although, you know, those are my least favorite songs and probably but I mean, those are the ones you got to have. And to make it worth it for somebody to give you a deal like that. And so, but yeah, I'll get those back in 23. And until then, I'm a lot happier at right now. You know, all those records that were cluster fucked everywhere and on shitty little labels and didn't know who had it now and who bought what label and this and that. Never seen a penny for any publishing or any record residuals or anything for any records except for Beautiful Things in my entire career. I've never gotten one check or one penny. Got a few advances. You know what I mean? You got advances for certain things like that, but you know, you don't realize that's your money too. But never actually made a penny except for per diem. Made a per diem.
Wow.
I think that was us paying it too.
That is crazy. I knew you guys were getting screwed a lot, and it was hard for a while to keep up with you guys, which albums you were on and bouncing around. It was a hard time for rock to begin with.
Plus people didn't know where to get them. You know, getting asked all the time, where do we get this record? I can't find this record and stuff. And so Cleopatra, you know, proposed that, and they really love and respect the band, and you know, that's their, you know, the other reason that they want to do it. You know, I don't know exactly what they got going over there, but I know that they're showing love to the band. Everything's we know where everything's at now. We get the spreadsheets and get paid, all this and that, and they'll be released and treated with some love, you know. And I do believe a box set is coming.
Good.
But Dissonance did really good. They put it out and went through the whole first pressing right away. And I found out that Peach Fuzz just came out like last week or so. But I hope they do the box set all vinyl. That'd be great.
That would be really great. I love vinyl. I got a huge vinyl collection. I think Dissonance, I didn't realize it at the time. I know it's one of your favorite albums, and because of diversity and the guitar player on it. I just think a special player on that. How do you get him on there? Jake on Dissonance.
He was he was good friends. He used to hang out at the studio all the time with the drummer and the guy that owned the studio. You know, the guy Vinny Castaldo that I made that record with. Chip came out later and played the bass on everything, but Jakey was there, you know, and it just never even crossed my mind. And one night we all went out partying, and we were jacked up out of our fucking minds, and came back to the studio, Jake and me and Vinny, and they laid down this track called Joni Lynn. It's on the Dissonance record, and I asked Jake. I said, "Hey man, can you blow a solo on this one? I need a solo right here, you know." And he blew a solo on it, and it was great. And that just led to, well, can you do something on this one? And before you know it, Vinny had talked him into playing all the reinforcement guitars on all the songs.
That's crazy because he was, for a while, I mean, obviously he's a legendary guitar player.
Yeah, he's great.
He chilled out for a while. Where no one, like, you know what I mean? He wasn't kind of under the covers for a while. So like, whenever you hear him on something, everyone just jumps for it because.
Well, nothing worth his while was coming along, you know, because after the last things he'd done, you know, he's waiting to do, he wants to do something, you know, great again. And so not a whole lot came along, but he also had problems and stuff like that kept him under the radar and shit. That's not really my place to tell.
No, but he I think went from Ozzy, but Badlands was just freaking ridiculously awesome. I love that.
He's so much better than I ever knew he was. I didn't really, pay too much attention to him. I mean, we toured with him and stuff, but I really didn't listen to him much or look him up or anything. And then when we were hanging in the studio and stuff, we'd put up a few videos, during there, doing the night or the session and stuff. And I'd see it, and then I'd hear him, and then watching him playing on my songs. It's like, it's not his cup of tea. It's not his style or anything. And that's why we probably would never, we discussed maybe we should get in a band together, but it's like apples and oranges, you know what I mean? But yeah, he did a great job on that shit.
Yeah, that's really cool. It was really good. I like that.
He's fucking great.
So I guess the last thing is I want to go over is you got your guitar back, your purple guitar. What happened with that?
Well, ever since I first got that guitar was right when we were demoing Animals and Human Intelligence shit, and I got it, and it was like pristine, and so it's tore the fuck up, and I used it for every Enuffs. I had endorsements with other guitars and stuff like that. I never used them. I lost the endorsements because I wasn't using them. They come to see it, sneak out to see me and stuff, and that's all I used unless I had a broken string was that Les Paul. Every show, every record and stuff, because it just fit me great and it sounded great, and and fuck with it. And so that was like one of the only things that I still had left and took with me when I left the band in 2001. And make a long story short, our landlord in the building we lived in, I was a witness to him murdering a hooker, and so everything got fucked, and we were getting shuffled out into the street like right away, and we needed money bad. And that was the only thing that I had that could that would help enough to get some money. So I begrudgingly sold it, but to a fan. It was to a fan.
Yeah.
Got the money and made an agreement that if you ever sell it, I know where it is now, and if I ever can get it back, or something. And all these years, it's been way down on my list, but in the back of my mind of getting that back. And Christmas morning, I come up the stairs and there's a Les Paul case with a bow on it, and Diana, it's like, come on upstairs, something wrong with the fireplace. And I'm still loggy-gagging because I know her dad's up there and stuff like that. I said, there's nothing wrong with the fireplace. I don't know what they want, but I came up and that was because they had the camera rolling and everything. It's unbelievable. Awesome, unbelievable surprise. I still can't believe it. And I've just been, I overhauled it immediately because I had autographed it in nail polish and some other shit when I gave it to the guy and stuff, and hacked up fucking pickups and shit. So I dialed it all in, got killer new pickups and put in it, and buffed out the scratches and shit the best that I can, and been finally starting to use it on songs and stuff, and I'm remembering so quickly what I loved about it. It's a Les Paul, but it's a great one. It's fucking dream come true, man. It's great to fucking have, it's one thing in my arsenal that I didn't have these days was another Les Paul,
Yeah, I heard that in the story, and it's like, I gotta ask more about it. I didn't know about the hooker getting killed. I mean, I didn't expect that. That was a little right turn. That's
a whole story in a book or something. It was crazy. I was a witness the guy shot a hole right through the horse's face. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The trial was worse than living with that. There was a really dark haze over my life and shit when they took him away to jail and stuff, and there's this whole mansion that we lived in, the bottom floor of a mansion that he rented out to us. And I started kind of out of necessity hanging with him a little bit more to do some odd jobs and stuff around the place to make some money to help pay the outrageous rent we were paying. And so it kind of my wife left town and for a while, and I ended up being in a position where I was spending a lot more time with him than I wanted to be, and then that happened, and afterwards, they pulled everything apart. Our whole world was torn out from underneath us, and it was a very dark phase of my life.
I'm glad to see you're kind of on your way out. You're writing songs. You're happy. You are where you need to be, at least.
Under the circumstances, you're happy, like I said, I'm doing great under the circumstances.
You're a songwriter. You have a roof. You're writing songs. There's no danger. Those are all good things.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed and thankful every day, appreciative every day. Thank God and you know, everybody involved. It's the first time in my life I've ever had any peace of mind and any kind of happiness, you know. Even when I had a lot of money, I didn't.
Yeah. You have a strong fan base that people that really do care about you. That's something when like the things went out there, I think there's more care and concern than anything. Than like, who cares? They were worried about you.
They're small but mighty. Yeah, they are the best fans in the world, and I care about them as much. You know, when we interact, and a lot of these fans, you know, I've gotten to know and stuff through social media and interactions and stuff, and so some of these fans, it's turned into knowing them more personal levels, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They come to me for advice or to talk to, and you know, when this is happening, this shit. So I'm an expert in bullshit, you know, fucked up stuff happening. So I learned the hard way. So with everything, so you know, and
you need a book.
Time.
That's what you need.
That takes a lot of responsibility and commitment and time and follow through to do that.
Get a co-writer and you can tell stories, and they can, you know, somebody that went to school and college and English and stuff, and you tell the stories and they can write them.
We've been talking about that with a few different people, but it's you know, everybody's like, you should write a book, but you know, when I'm sitting down trying to think of the stories and stuff like that, it doesn't come to my mind like when I'm just talking to somebody or like talking to you or whatever, and you know, all of a sudden I go off into stories and stuff.
It would be good.
I'll try.
Well, I want. You should. I don't know. I think it's good. I think you're in a good spot. I think like you not being in Enuffs Z'Nuff, keeping your spot where you are, being solo, is probably
it's a great story. You know,
it would be a good story.
It's an insane story. I mean, my normal, you know, it's like what some people's biggest devastation in their lives is a Tuesday for me. You know, so
I think it could be inspirational too. I think there's some success of going through some dark times, battling some addictions, and then, you know, it's real. I think people like that.
That's a good story. We'll have to I'll get to it one day.
You keep writing your songs. I'm looking forward to your single coming out too when it does.
Thank you.
I know you're hunting. You know, you don't have anything right now. Have your guy reach out to me. I'll put something up once you have it out there. We'll advertise it for you too.
Thank you very much. Thanks for thinking of me. Apologize if I was a little spacey and not looking or sounding too great today, but
it's fine. It's life. It's just life, man. Just wanted to talk to you. All right. Thank you for being on the show tonight, man.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good one.
Okay. Bye-bye.